All right, everybody. Hello and welcome back to the stream. Let me just see if my streams are working properly. The fight night just finished. Cejudo versus Song is in the books. And Twitch seems to be working. YouTube takes usually like a couple seconds longer. Just give me, yep, there it is. And here we go. We just dive right into it because it's really late and I want to go to bed. So we really had a really entertaining night of fights, I thought. A lot of finishes. The prelims were all finishes. Really exciting. And then weirdly, fights that I thought would be finishes for sure went for decisions, and yeah, somehow the night really ended weird, but we'll get to that. We start off in the prelims with light heavyweight division. We had Modestas Bukauskas versus Rafael Sequeira, and Modestas just nailed him. They were exchanging, it was a kind of back and forth. They were both throwing with a lot of heat. Was a fun fight to watch. Yeah, Modestas was the one who struck first, or not struck first, but hit first, and he finished the fight like immediately after. Great win for Modestas Bukauskas. Next up, we went to the middleweight division. We had Nursultan Ruzuboyev versus Eric Mekoniko. And yeah, Ruzuboyev would not be taken down. The first round was kind of close. Ruzuboyev had his moments, and Eric Mekoniko had, no, I wouldn't say really moments, but he defended most of the strikes. But Ruzuboyev still landed. And in the second round, he just hit him with something really significant, hurt him, and finished him on the ground. So, Ruzuboyev by TKO in the second. Next up, we had a catchweight between Nikolai Veretennikov and Austin Vanderford, and I predicted this to be a decision win for Vanderford, but I actually did not expect this to be like this easy for him as soon as it hit the ground. Like, Veretennikov really seemed lost. Like he couldn't move at all. And yeah, Vanderford just realized that in the first round. Almost submitted him in the first. And more of the same in the second round. But this time he finished him by ground and pound. He just put him in I think he had him in a seatbelt kind of position, had his arm trapped and rained on left hands. Yeah, and got the TKO. Oh, by the way, we go through the prediction as well, my predictions as well. I also predicted Modestas to win by, let's go back here. I predicted Modestas to win by TKO. Not particularly in the first round, but I thought he would win. Same for Nursultan Ruzuboyev. I predicted a TKO for him. And I predicted a unanimous decision for Austin Vanderford, but he got the TKO in the second round. Yep, moving on. We had bantamweights, Ricky Simon versus Javid Basharat, and Ricky Simon really surprised me today. He actually, did he really surprise me that? No. He looked like the fighter I see, but this time he hit one of his looping punches and it was really decimating. And the way he threw that 1-2, he kind of blocked Basharat's vision with his left and then threw the right behind it, so he couldn't see it coming, and then hit it perfectly. That was really a really nice finish. That was not like a that was not like the regular puncher. But this, otherwise the fight was not great for Simon. Basharat defended all the takedowns pretty well. He took him down like once or twice, but he popped right back up, and yeah, it was a back and forth fight until Simon landed and he knocked him out cold. I expected Simon to get a unanimous decision, but he had other plans tonight. Congratulations to Ricky Simon. Moving on, we had in the middleweight division, we had Mansour Abdul Malik versus Nick Klein, and I predicted Abdul Malik to get a TKO. He did get a TKO in the second round, but he really had to show his toughness in the first round. He got rocked by a spinning back fist, and he said later he just had to set his feet and was nothing, but he looked rocked. He got clipped. But he showed his chin, that his chin held up, and yeah, showed some toughness and got the finish in the second round. And showed that he's really one of the more aggressive fighters in the division, if not in the UFC. Very, very aggressive fighter. Moving on, we had the featherweights. We had Andre Fili versus Melchisael Costa. Did not expect this result, actually. Costa by guillotine in the first. Did not expect this one. Let's go through the fight for as long as it lasted. In the stand-up, Costa showed some powerful kicks. They were all pretty labored, but they sounded powerful. They looked powerful. His oblique kicks, one of them seemed to buckle Fili's knee. He seemed to be bothered by them also a little bit. So his kicks were pretty good. Fili looked a little gun shy. He looked kind of confident, but also didn't throw much. And then he shot in for a takedown, and yeah, Costa got the arm in guillotine. Against an alpha male fighter, I really did not expect this. Because they, as they say at the alpha male gym, they shoot on each other every day and land in each other's guillotine every time, and they say there's no way you guillotine an alpha male guy, but he got guillotined. Moving on, light heavyweight division, last fight of the prelims. We had Ion the Hulk Kutalaba versus Ibo Aslan. I predicted Ibo Aslan to TKO the Hulk, but it turned out the Hulk could weather the early storm, and the fight went like every Kutalaba fight I watched. I think he just bum rushes his opponents, and somehow they start brawling, and some way or another one of them goes down, and that's the end of the fight. But this time he saw an opportunity to take him down, and as soon as the fight hit the ground, Aslan looked a little bit out of his depth, and Ion, I don't think he's ever looked this good on the ground. I don't think. Yeah. was a really good fight until Kutalaba took him down, and then he just ended it. Really, really good win for Ion. So, yeah, but wrong prediction for me. I predicted Aslan to win by TKO. But, yeah, good win for Ion. Moving on to the main card, we had first up in the light heavyweight division, we had Alonso Manifield versus Julius Walker. Julius Walker is a really, really raw talent. You can see in his fighting style that he's really athletically really, really gifted. He just lacks proper technique, but he has a chin. He's very tough. You probably can use a little bit more cardio, but he still stayed in the fight from start to finish. He stayed in it to win it. He tried to finish whenever he had opportunities to, but Alonso Manifield tonight was a little bit too much. I actually scored the bout the other way around, I have to admit. I scored the round 1. I scored for Walker. The second was very, very close. Walker started stronger, and I think Manifield took a little bit over in the later part of the round, but I thought that Walker did enough to win the second. But it was very, very close, so I understand how people see it the other way around, but it was a split decision, so I think the I didn't see the scorecards which rounds were debatable, but I assume that the judges that gave it to the judge that gave it to Walker also gave him the second. The third round was really an all-out war between them. They were really throwing everything at each other, and I gave the third then to Manifield. If you saw the fight, did you think that the scorecards were kind of weird too for that fight? Like the way Bruce Buffer read it out. I mean, maybe it was just Bruce Buffer reading it out weirdly because he first thought it was a unanimous decision, but didn't he just read out the 3 scores and then as a split decision? Let me check on Wikipedia. 1 second. How was that scored? No, just split decision. But he read it out like when he reads out unanimous decisions, but with 1 29-28 and 2 30-27, something like that. Yeah, but 2 judges gave it to Manifield, and he gets the win tonight. As I said, I thought Walker did enough to. He could have gotten the victory tonight, I think. But the judges, 2 of the judges thought differently. So, moving on. We went to the featherweight division, Gene Silva versus Melsik Bagdasaryan. I have to say, it was a weird fight because they kind of had a good back and forth on the feet. Bagdasaryan wasn't really landing, but he threw powerful shots, especially his left high kick. But Silva managed to avoid it, but he threw out power, so it was fun to watch, I'd say. And then Silva got confident, and he started showboating a little bit, and he does this when he when he starts to get the crowd involved, he gets pumped up and he high fives his opponent, and he did this, and then he started cracking, and he cracked him good. Like I said, was a good fun fight, stand-up war, until Silva caught him, and then it was over basically right after that. It should have been a KO in my opinion, because the way Bagdasaryan fell down, he seemed a little out of it, and he didn't really protect himself in a way that he looked like he wanted to fight back. He just curled up and took punishment. So probably could have been a walk-off KO, but it's gonna be... Oh, my bad. I wrote down a KO, but I think it's a TKO because the ref gave it a little bit of extra time. Yeah. It was ruled as a TKO. My bad. Have to change that. Moving on, we go to the bantamweights. We had Rob Font versus Jin Matsumoto. Matsumoto wasn't able to make 135, I think, in a short amount of time, so they made it a catch weight, but basically they're both bantamweight fighters. As I said before, huge step up in competition for Jin Matsumoto. I predicted Rob Font to be too tough for him, technically too strong, but it turned out it was very, very different from what I expected in this fight. The start was very strong and kind of dirty for Font. He kind of blitzed him right after the glove touch, and put a lot of pressure on Matsumoto. But Matsumoto took him down at the end of the round and controlled him a little bit. So I gave the first round to Font. The second round was a lot stronger for Matsumoto. And it was still a close round, but because of a stronger start from Matsumoto, I gave the second round to Matsumoto. The third round was just amazing. It was just an amazing round to watch. It was so fun to watch. They were both letting it hang out, letting it all hang out. The step in elbow from Font, which he cut him open, was so like vicious and beautiful in a way. And after that, Matsumoto was like sprayed in his own blood, but he still kept on throwing, and they were both throwing everything but the kitchen sink at each other, and was really entertaining to watch. I gave the third also to Font, but I could have seen it the other way around, and one judge gave it to Matsumoto, but still split decision win for Rob Font. Moving on, we go to the co-main. What's the co-main? No? Yo. Co-main event, middleweight division. We had Brandon Allen versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Kind of a weird fight, I thought. Like, really weird fight. Oh. And even weirder that I wrote the wrong winner here. Let me see if I can change that while I'm in it. I don't think I can, but let's see. I can. Okay. Was it? Yeah. Okay. No, I really scared myself for a second. I was picking Brandon Allen to win this fight. the first round, as basically all rounds, was a grappling war, and at the beginning, Fluffy was kind of overwhelming Brandon Allen, and Brandon Allen was staying calm and looked for his openings, and he got his opening to reverse the position and kind of dominated Hernandez from that point on. So I gave the first round to Allen, but it was still a close round. Second and third round was basically more of the same. Allen staying composed, staying calm, but oftentimes accepting bottom position, and Hernandez ended up having a lot of control time. He didn't do a lot of damage. He didn't do a lot of He did some. He jumped his neck a couple of times, but Allen didn't seem to be in any real danger at any point. But he tried some submissions, but mostly was just control time. But he edged it out. So he won a unanimous decision, deserved. So his winning streak continues, and my prediction was again wrong. Moving on to the main event. Speaking of wrong predictions. But my prediction couldn't actually come true. Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong, the main event. And what a sad main event it was. First round, I thought before the fights, I said I see Henry winning this. I thought that Song might be able to catch him, that he has that chance at every time, of course. But my prediction was that Song might win the first 2 rounds, but that at some point Henry will take over and would win a unanimous decision, which couldn't happen because Song Yadong won the first 2 rounds, and then he poked him in the eye and Henry couldn't see anymore. We'll have to see in the aftermath, in the interviews, what he's going to say about that. But if you can't see, I understand. I think there's fighters that still would have fought in this situation, but I understand that you want to preserve your eyesight because, yeah, if you don't see the punch coming, if you get poked again in a similar spot and the damage gets worsened, I understand, but I know that there's a couple of fighters that would have kept on fighting. So after the eye poke, it went to a technical decision, kind of weirdly, because I don't know why Herzog had to start the fourth round before he could stop the match. I don't know. I think technical decisions after 3 rounds is a normal thing. You don't usually have to start the 4th, I don't think. Well, in any ways, it went to a technical decision, and the scorecards were all towards Song Yadong. I was kind of surprised that 2 of them, of the scorecards, were only 29-28s, because I thought Song Yadong won the first 2, and after the eye poke, he took over in the third with aggression, and Henry couldn't see, so he just moved out of the way to the best of his ability. So I gave all 3 rounds to Song Yadong. I don't know how he could have given a round to Cejudo here. But he still won, so who cares? And we move on. So that was the UFC Fight Night Cejudo versus Song Yadong. My overall experience was really, I had a good time. Really fun fights. A lot of finishes. a lot of early finishes. The end was kind of weird. The grappling war between Hernandez and Allen was not the most entertaining. It was fun for the first round and kind of the beginning of the second, but I never liked this pure wrestling grind style of fighting. I never liked it, and yeah, it stayed like this for 15 minutes, and yeah, not my kind of jazz, but yeah, was the moment the night took a turn for me. And then it was topped off by the main event that went to a technical decision, and with a huge interference before and a huge break in between rounds and a 5-minute break in like right before the end of round 3. No, it was like a minute and what he asked it, no? Henry asked it and he said a minute and 16, I think. So there was a little bit of time left, but there was like 5-minute break, then a minute of fighting, then round break, and then this weirdness around the stoppage, and kind of a weird ending to a good night of fights, I thought. Well, that's my reaction to the UFC Fight Night Cejudo vs. Song. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun preparing this and watching the fights, of course. I hope to see you guys in the next one. My predictions for the next UFC events will come on Thursday, as always, and my reactions. I hope that the upcoming event I'm at home. If not, then I'll probably be able to do the reaction only on a Sunday or a Monday later, because I have to tape the fights and watch them later. Well, anyways, have a good night, you guys. Have a good rest of the weekend. And leave us up, leave a like, comment. See you.